developed and improved on it a lot, and they're
Yeah.
both right next to each other with those sub 20 times.
Yeah, and I haven't really grinded out a as hard PB in a long time, but I was, I bring this up probably more than I should, but oh, did they start?
Yeah, we're on our way right now.
Nice. But, I was part of the OG crew where there wasn't as much of a developed strategy, and it's great to see these new players come out with the strategies that, mainly Cards came up with, but we as a community came up with, and then to just beast and get times that we didn't even think were consistently possible. It's awesome.
The game has gone through a lot over the years, and I guess while we are getting started,
Wow.
Did Flag die on the first one? Oh man, it would be tradition for someone to either reset or die on the first stage, because it's happened in a couple matches and it's happened in a GDQ showcase, so nothing surprising there.
That's crazy. And they both finished at the same time, so I just thought they both won. Then coming up with the loss there. Oh man. But as with S hard, you're never really out of it. Unfortunately, I might need to get my cat some water, so she quits yelling at me here. So,
yeah, you're fine. Go ahead.
yeah. I'll be right back.
All right, sure. And
the cat ends up winning out all the time.
Hey, pets take priority. While she's doing that, since we do have a little bit of a new audience, if you guys are unfamiliar with this game, it's basically just a match 3 game in terms of you want to link more clears together or clear more than 3 in a row, and you do things called chains and combos. And the more you do of those, you'll send garbage blocks to your opponent, and then the goal of the game is just simply top off your opponent. They'll have this little timer called stop time until they actually die, where they have just a little bit of time to find a clear and bail themselves out. But if they don't react in enough time, that's how they die. And the biggest strategy here for S-Heart, since it is a pretty heavily RNG game, we mentioned that like old school runners, we kind of had trouble because we didn't find anything consistently. But over the past couple of years, you'll see both of these players start out with 2-4 combos right at the beginning, and the AI likes to prioritize the lowest garbage block on their screen. So 2-4 combos will leave garbage blocks that are 3 blocks wide, and when they're dropping down, the AI will prioritize that, and when they do not see any clears underneath it, they'll ignore if they have any other blocks on the other side of the screen. And I'll be sure to point it out because it might be a little bit confusing the way I described it. But yeah, you'll see it probably a couple times throughout this run.
Yeah, the strategy becomes pretty clear-cut, as you can just see on Yume's side there. Alright, Flag finally got past Gary. Alright, we in there. I know on my match, I think I spent about 7 minutes at Gary, so sometimes you just get trolled at the beginning, which is really unfortunate, because when you're doing this RTA, and you can just get rid of it. But when you're in a race, you just have to deal with what it is. And you'll see a lot of, particularly from the newer players, I find, there's a lot more reset strategies of trying to, get those ideal quick kills and over again. Whereas, kind of in the older days, so to speak, you just kind of grind it out. But before you knew... Yeah, and this is a really sick run from Yume so far. This is to get to Koga at 4 minutes is amazing. So
yeah, it's hard to say. Every person's kind of different running S-Heart. Some people struggle early game, some people struggle late, and especially in races like Nicole mentioned, you can just get held up on a lot of things, and you can't really reset your run. The best you can do is reset your stage sometimes to get a little bit better RNG. But yeah, this is very uncharacteristic. You don't really see a run starting off this good. And if he manages to get another quick kill here, which there's still opportunity for it, I like to call this the final chance here right after they clear all the garbage, or the 4 combo garbage blocks. but it looks
Right.
like he may get the clear still, so you might see a reset pretty soon.
Yeah, it's one of the kind of it's an upside because you start with the 2-4 combos and then you need to top off the opponent. And the idea behind topping off is having enough garbage so it fills the entire screen. But you need a large chain to do that. But when you see on Yume's screen where he's just clearing and clearing and clearing, it's kind of a downside. But to get the quick kill, you have to do it like that. And it's just kind of, it's an unfortunate strategy point for the game. But it's, when you play this game, it's just how it's gotta work, so.
I'm going to be that guy and put Flag on blast for right now. He's still got plenty of time to make it up, but he is quite proud in his ability and said he consistently gets sub 30. But during his first match of S-Hard in bracket, both of his races were well over 30 minutes. And he's kind of on a slow pace to do that again, so I hope he gets off to a better start, or else I might have to harass him a little bit after his match again.
Yeah, it's fun to kind of mess with Flag, but Flag is just one of those people because he's been to GQs. Oh no! One more line. I hate when that happens on Flag's side, but Flag is just like, I just really appreciate Flag, and I'm just gonna throw some love at him. I just appreciate Flag as a person because just the way he is and just the attitude he has is just because I remember we had the match, the Pokemon Puzzle League tournament at GDQ, and I was just like, I suck. I can't do this. And he's like, Nicole, you're not that bad at this game. Knock that off. And it's just who he is, and he's just good people. So
Couldn't agree more with that. He's
struggling right now, so it's.
Not only is he a nice person, too, he's actually, like, he's been a little bit shaky later rounds here, but he's guaranteed 5th in this tournament. And past results, like, just in-person versus, he's done really well. Like, at the past GDQ for that Pokemon Puzzle League tournament, he was the runner-up right behind FFR Pro, and he's finished top 8 in a couple other instances where we've ran the tournament. So he's no stranger to being in the competition seat, so I think nerves might get to him a little bit less, whereas he has experience with other games. Like, I'm pretty sure he's in the Link to the Past randomizers right now and doing pretty well in his group, I believe. But I think as far as Puzzle League related titles, this is his first tournament that he's joined.
Yeah, I mean, Yume's been it's been a really good, not a surprise. You know he's going to do well from just his base, PB time. And I actually didn't realize he had a sub 20 going into our match. So, that's just, as Tayman and Shadow are kind of elaborating on in chat right now, like, sub 20 is god tier, and there are not very many people who have that time. To get that kind of time is crazy. So both of these guys are very capable of just going on runs. Because there's a lot of momentum too at this game, where sometimes you just feel it, and it's just you have the timing. I think of it a lot as timing and speed are kind of the two measures to figure out if I'm playing well. So or timing and sight. So it's the timing of being able to drop on the opponent, but it's also your ability to be able to see the chains and combos you need to be able to drop. And you put the two of those together, and the best players in the world have that ability to put those two together, and in any given run, just kill it. So...
And that's what I really like.
I just love this game so much.
Yeah, that's what I really like about it, because, like we said, we've done like versus tournaments in person as well, and this game just takes on so many different ways that you can play it. Like doing versus modes for story speedruns, like Nicole said, it's a lot about reacting and playing a little bit conservative, but you want to be very precise. Whereas a versus match, you might have a like a strict gameplay that you want to do, a lot of people will go for pretty big chains. A lot of people will layer it and do like a bunch of 5 chains. And then you got modes like Time Attack where you can just go crazy and people will do 14, 15 chains all the time and get as much as they can. So there's a lot of different things that appeal to just about anyone. Like if you don't like story mode, there's plenty other things you can do in this game.
Yeah, and you get walled somewhere, and right now, oh man, Yume's getting kind of walled at Sabrina, and that gave Flag time to catch up. So
I guess that's what happens when you call out a person. He's gonna start doing well and get on the same stage. But yeah, this is what we like to see. There's still plenty of stages. There's 16 total in the run, so they're almost halfway through. But, yeah, lead changes can still happen pretty frequently right now, and even if you see someone get off to a 3, 4, or even 5-stage lead at this point, they're still not safe.
absolutely, because there's always spoilers. There's always Mewtwo at the end who can, and the thing about, we'll talk about it a little bit. Oh my God, Flag!
Yeah, Flag shut me up. He really did.
We'll talk about it when we get to Mewtwo, but Mewtwo you cannot reset because then you go back to the Gary stage beforehand. So that's kind of I find a lot of some of the newer players, right? They get used to resetting in these earlier stages, but then when you have to kind of do the grind on Mewtwo, like that in and of itself is kind of another level of being like, okay, I did not get the quick kill. I messed up. I might be getting into a 4, 5, 6, 7 minute battle. And having that kind of endurance is yet another skill you need to really be good at this game. So,
man, talk about
is free, fair.
Yeah, hashtag Mewtwo's free. Man, Flag is making a really good comeback right now as Yume. I believe he's been on Sabrina for about like 7 minutes or so. It's been rough watching this.
I think he got to Koga around 4:20, so he got to Sabrina around 5. And it's just and it's just trying to reset too. Let's see if no, I don't think. Well, let's see if Flag pulled this out. No, I don't think so. I think you've got the diamonds on the other side. Or the... There you go. I didn't see the hearts, but you had the stars as well there. Yeah, this game is just amazing.
Yeah, and we mentioned like the halfway point. This is a really good part to segment from.
Wow. And sometimes the computers just wreck themselves, and that's just
And that's just all right.
That's that's okay. It's like I'm in a bowling league, and it's like when you get the worst strike in existence, and then you're like, well, it's still an X up on the board. I'm just gonna walk away and accept it because that was awful, but it's what it is at the end of the day, which is getting some of these later matches under. Now I'm curious, Forky, as one of the, is you kind of being, a little bit stronger than me in consistency. Like, what is kind of a good time for these later stages in regards to quick kills? Because I know early on it's kind of 25 seconds, but I personally, for me, still getting like quick kills around 30 seconds at these, like the second half of the run is still really good. I don't know if that standard of 20 seconds is still, as stringent necessarily.
Yeah, it's a little bit different later game because this is what I was going to mention before. Once you get to this halfway point, you can notice a little bit of a spike of the AI where they start playing a little bit faster. And so when they're chaining at the beginning, sometimes they'll drop it immediately, but they'll start to find one as soon after. And usually you'll see like yourself doing a little bit of a longer chain. But if you end up getting the quick kill, sometimes you get 20 seconds, sometimes it's in the 30 seconds. Or even if they make a couple clears and delay it just a little bit, 40 seconds is still very acceptable for this kind of round, and that's something you want to shoot for. I'd say, you know, give it about that 40-second range. Unless you start really, really bad, then go ahead and reset it.
Yeah, so, you know, we usually kind of, in the community, kind of notice it, at least over time, we've noticed it at Tracy, is kind of this point where you need to change mentality, and that's about halfway through the run. Where you just need to kind of readjust a little bit in how you approach the game. Now, I'm seeing in the chat, Yume needs to reset, and it is possible that because he's not resetting, he is tilted and he just wants to grind this out. Because that happens, where you're just like, I'm resetting and I cannot win. Screw it. I am just gonna go. And it's very possible that he is tilted. But I do think at a certain point there is a value to just grinding it out. And just being like, oh no.
Well, he's going to be forced to reset now, as he didn't leave enough blocks on his screen. So maybe this is a blessing in disguise right here. Maybe we'll get a quick kill as he restarts it.
Yeah. Although, for shame that he ended at 417 and not 420.
Oh boy.
So
So he's not going to get the quick kill now anymore.
Yeah, but you know, but no, I spend way too much time on the internet. I like memes.
Oh, this might be it, actually, if he gets lucky enough. Did he send over enough garbage?
No!
He's going to have a little bit of time still to send more over, but I don't think it's going to be enough. No. Well, the opportunity was there. He just didn't send enough, unfortunately.
Flag was getting stalled up at Rocket, so that was the opportunity, and sometimes you just don't drop enough, and especially when you get into that cycle of clearing the garbage too, and you know, because even that, I just love the depth to this game and like how there's so many subtle strategies, right? Because even when you are there we go. All right. We're on Speed Gaming 3, and I was told to clean up my language a little bit.
He wrote a wordful comment in the IRC channel that I won't repeat, but it made me chuckle a little bit. I also saw a little bit of this conversation in chat that I want to elaborate more on, referring to the spaces on Yume. He is playing on emulator, and for some reason, this game has a history of not being able to be emulated properly, and that's actually seen in official releases too. When this was ported to the Virtual Console, they've had some lag issues on different screens, and it's actually faster to run the game on one player on VC. You get a little bit quicker loading in between stages. But if you try to play Spa Service, which is a mode focused on line clears only, there's a 3D mode where the blocks just go around it all in a circle and you got to clear them. It lags so heavily on there. So if you do speed runs for that mode, you're going to lose minutes on the run.
Yeah, that's very much it. You know, they had a lot in the Zelda community. There's version differences. That is one of those. If you're gonna run speedrun Spa Service, you need to have the N64, or you just go crazy. It's really bad. Okay, so Flag's getting stalled here a little bit at Geo. Second tier strats. Oh my god, second tier strat. I remember I saw the four-way touch attack race, and I remember being in the audience and just yelling at second tier strats. And I think I was probably so loud you could pick me up a little bit, but it's second tier strats. To explain what second tier strats are, so as you can see on Flag screen right now, sometimes between gaps of the garbage, there's just a second tier of garbage between where the garbage blocks are and where your blocks are. There's garbage, there's blocks, there's garbage, etc. And when they clear, that second tier essentially, and then there's third tier. That's a tilter. When all of a sudden they go up, they clear a third tier, and it's like, no, how do you even see that and not lose? It's pretty silly. But you can also, particularly, I think of it in Mewtwo because it's a bit of a, if you lose, that's a bit of a longer grind of a battle. But, if you kind of are clearing your own garbage, but you see you have a second tier or a third tier cleared, you can kind of, at some point, maybe be like, okay, I want to stagger what is clearing in the garbage. So then you can kind of have a little bit more options and not completely, trap yourself, essentially. Because that's one of the worst feelings, is when you have too few blocks, you trap yourself, as we saw here with Yume and Sabrina earlier. When you just trap yourself and there's nothing you can do. And then obviously it's just better to reset. Now, actually, I'm curious about this, Forky, but do we know if it's faster to just let the continue screen play through versus just resetting the beginning of the stage? Has anyone timed that, or is it just kind of whatever your preference is?
I'm pretty sure it's significantly faster to do the continue screen, but that's implying that you're in the position to die immediately, so most people will just, do the quick reset.
Because typically at that point, if you've been chaining a lot, you have stop time kind of available, and that needs to tick away. And sometimes that happens in a second, but a lot of times it's 2, 3, even 4 seconds if you've been playing really well. But it looks like Yume's making a comeback. So this is a really close series, really good. This is exactly what I was expecting. You get stuck on some stages, you go through periods where you get a lot of quick kills and a lot of you just play really well, and when you have really top tier players, it makes it a really good race.
Yeah, and that has definitely been the theme of this race right now. We've seen each person have like a 4 or 5 stage lead, and just both of them have went away just like that. And Flag's this is looking like the Sabrina for him right now. He's going on 4 minutes plus here. Let's see if Yume, he's got something pretty good started right now, but Rocket's gonna start raising their stack right now and doesn't have an immediate follow-up, so he might not get too lucky here.
Yeah, we'll see if they're starting to clear some stuff out. And again, this is one of those, like, garbage. Ooh.
Oh, he reset there. I think he could have had a chance to get the kill there. I'm not sure if I agree with that. No, I don't think
so, because he ran out of blocks.
Oh,
he ran out of blocks on himself. He couldn't do anything. That's why he reset.
Okay.
Because he had the hearts and he cleared those, but he didn't have anything to clear the other garbage and was topped off.
Okay. So yeah, I was full on focused on the CPU side, and I didn't even know he was like low himself. You gotta be careful in those situations, because I mean it's important to make sure your CPU's topped off, but you gotta make sure you have some blocks as well on your side.
Oh man. So we got a quick kill, and Flag is either... Again, we're not sure if he's tilted and giving up, but he's going into a long battle, which is... I haven't watched much of Flag play, but I'm guessing is kind of rare for him to just grind out a 6-minute battle like this.
Yeah, I'm curious why he's doing this too. I'm not quite sure. He's probably got the same mentality Yume had earlier, where he's like, you know what, let's just play through the stage because I haven't been able to quick kill it, and maybe eventually he'll die.
But that, it's hard. That could be his downfall, because now Yume's catching up. Here's another cool thing. That is kind of a because like with all games, when you learn to speed run them, or when you're learning to run them, right, you have kind of the basic strategies, and then you have the more complex strategies. So one of the big things with this game that personally I think separates like the top players from maybe some of the middle tier players, and I don't mean to necessarily degrade like lower level players, I'm not trying to get at that, but what makes the top, in my opinion, one of the things that makes the top players is the ability to be able to what I call screen watch. But it's the ability to be able to watch what the computer is doing and be able to time what you are doing based off of that. And Yume's taking a lead now. Wow. Wow. Oh, man. But the top players have a really good ability to screen watch, and it is what makes them able to consistently or more consistently quick kill. Because it's Pokemon Puzzle League, you can't always consistently quick kill. But it's that makes their ability to quick kill easier. And when you can quick kill easier, you get through the stages quicker, it goes faster, you get the better times. And really honing that skill of being able to watch what the computer is doing and know what you are doing and having that pacing it's really cool. Not only to watch, but if you play the game yourself a little bit and you get to that level of being able to do that and have this moment of consciously being able to quick kill the opponent, it's just a really good feeling. Wow, Flag's going on 8 minutes now. He might, there you go. There you go.
Man,
8 minutes and 5 seconds.
I think that might be the longest stage I've seen in the tournament so far from someone. I'm sure there's maybe been a longer one, but usually people either reset beforehand or just don't get that high.
Oh man. Oh man. Yume's resetting here. So we are now on even footing. Wow, this is... Have I mentioned yet how much I love this game? I love this game so much.
You're one of few, because most Puzzle League runners will talk crap about the game most of the time. Not because it's a bad game, but...
I'm not saying that this game...
Oh, did you see that? Oh my god, that clear on Flag's side right at the last second. The AI is like, you know what? I'll actually go for it. But...
Oh, and then because the garbage block is lower, and that's what we're talking about, the benefit of having those having the 2-4 combos. That's where it benefits, because if you only have the 1-4 combo, then he clears the 4 combo, then you're not getting anywhere. But having those 4-2 combos and letting them fall lower in the stack, and then the computer doesn't know what to do, and then you get cloister, baby. I've been saying that at work because of you do the baby thing all the time.
Oh my god.
And then I just at work, I just go, we got deliveries, baby! And people just don't know what I'm talking about.
That's funny.
Yeah.
Well, this has been such an interesting race so far. It looks like Yume is going to be getting trolled on Richie here a little bit. It looks like sub 30 is out the window for both these players, so...
Yeah.
There's another race I gotta say to Flag that is sub 30 really that free?
Sub 30 is not free. I'm sorry. Anyone who says sub 30 is free is either has a lot of confidence, which Flag does, or is semi-delusional. I love you, man, but...
Are you ready?
Yeah, I believe a longtime friend of ours who's in the community that used to run the game. His name's Shady Jakey. He actually had like a really close to sub 30 time 4 years ago, and he'll play the game from time to time now, but he still doesn't have a sub 30 to this day. So I can just show you that, you know, game still does take a little bit of luck or just a little bit more improvement on today's standards for strats, but definitely not free.
Yeah, it's not free at all, but still, I mean, getting to, because the thing is, it's, you know, in an RTA situation where you have the ability to reset, where you have the ability to optimize your run to a certain extent, you know, that's one thing. But when you're in a race situation, that's where you really learn to kind of balance, you know, kind of balance this tilt. And I think a lot of times it's the ability to manage the fact that you're getting trolled at these stages that really defines how you are as a racer as well. So,
Win 'em all.
you know, and I think that's kind of, I think that's, at least to me, and Cards of the Heart knows I'm his biggest fangirl, but, you know, to me, that's what makes Cards one of the best racers out there, and the best players out there, is because
Oh, he is
in
the
a race
best.
situation, in like a race situation, he knows how to manage, you know, these types of two-chain.
Yeah, shout out to Cards. If you guys aren't too familiar with the community, he's someone who's done work on the game for quite a while, and I think everyone would agree he's been the #1 overall runner for years.
Absolutely. And, you know, he was the first, you know, and a lot of us to GDQs, if you follow the GDQ scene, you know, a lot of us had submitted to GDQ as Heart. And, you know, he was the one who got accepted. I personally think because, you know, they knew in the community he was the top runner of the game. And
oh, are they going to find the red? Oh,
how?
yes.
How? Do you not see?
See,
the hearts are right there.
That's what happens with the AI sometimes. They're completely oblivious because it's just like one block over. If that would have been a little bit, if it would have been like a little bit higher and underneath the combo garbage, they would have been able to clear it. But luckily for him, he's going to be moving on with this stage lead still.
How do you not see the hearts there? What the? Peter baffles me sometimes.
Well, this is good for flag again. This is textbook. No blocks at all on the right side. And 20 seconds right on the dot there. Flag's in the driver's seat now.
Wow, that's an incredible round. That's wow. I mean, there's ways to get around that. Actually, I can see how to make that happen, but the AI, you know, sometimes can't. Because there you clear the hearts down, you clear the lower block, you have the diamond, you pull that over, but you know, kind of being a player who was kind of later to the reset strat game and preferred to just grind out, you know, because I'm pretty sure I didn't really use very many reset strats in my PB of 23 minutes. So, you know, you kind of get used to, when you kind of get used to grinding stages out, you get used to these kind of clutch scenarios of there is only one way to get out of this and you need to see it now kind of thing. So
Flag had a little bit of trouble starting Gary here. He still doesn't have him topped off, and like he dropped his very first chain and like started slow. I'm surprised he didn't reset immediately there, but it looks like he's going to get some decent follow-ups to eventually top him off. Looks like he's just going no reset strats. I don't know if he's like trying to prove something.
Oh man, I wasn't sure if he was gonna mess that up, but he didn't. That was close. It wasn't super close. It wasn't as close as it can be sometimes, but it was definitely closer than it needs to be. Sometimes you can just, oh wow, okay, and sometimes just letting it play out a little bit. And that's the trade-off. You let things play out, and sometimes it works, and other times you get 8-minute stages like you got on Geo. So Geo sucks, by the way. So here, we talked about this a little bit earlier. Mewtwo, you cannot reset on Mewtwo because you go back to Gary. You don't want to go back to Gary. It is pretty well established in the community that just no matter how hard Mewtwo gets, no matter how bad you might want to reset, you just don't reset Mewtwo. You just grind it out. Because it's not worth gambling that you can go back and get another quick kill on Gary. Because you can go back to Gary and he can troll you for 6 minutes versus just having a 6-minute Mewtwo battle and dealing. So I feel really bad for Yume though, because he had such a good start to the run. His run. And the fact that he got, you know, kind of trolled on Sabrina, he's getting trolled on Waifu, or, I'm sorry, Lorelai. She's just Waifu to me now. but shoutouts to Licking, but it's just it's disheartening, and a lot of times in situations like this, particularly when the other player finishes and you're getting trolled on a stage, you just forfeit and try to reset and go to another run. It's just not worth the frustration. Yeah, and I guess because, you know, the other puzzle waifu of Sabrina, he got trolled on pretty hard as well, so. But, you know, Flag, you can always come back, because there you go. You know, Flag struggling on Mewtwo. Finally, Yume's gotten past Lorelei.
Oh, but this is going to be the end right here, so. Despite Yume getting that quick kill, Flag will finish off this run with a pretty respectable time. Sub 40 is always a pretty good time to have, even if Flag says sub 30 is free.
Yeah, yeah, 35 is super respectable in a race scenario. You know, there are race nights we have with this game where 35 will win a race. So, you know, it's. Yeah, and then Yume just decided to, you know, be like, all right, we'll move on. We'll try this again. So, but a very, very good race, very back and forth. You know, each player had a substantial lead at some point, and then it comes back, and that's hard for you. So hopefully, if you like watching the speed gaming channels, but you're not as familiar with this game, hopefully you're kind of liking what you're seeing here. And you know, we're over at twitch.tv/puzzlegeneral if you want, and we have our YouTube link up there as well on the screen right now. So if you want to you know, check out more of this tournament, because we are getting toward the end, but we still have a lot more races to go. So
it's so good to see you.
Mm-hmm.
And the best players, you know, the best players out there are still in the tournament. We've got Mr. DB Forky himself, who's on commentary. We've got Cards of the Heart, FFR Pro, who has run at the last SGDQ, is also still in the tournament. So, yeah, and then we have other tournaments as well. Well, you know, other various puzzle tournaments. So, yeah, free plug in the chat. Thanks, guys. I actually work at Jimmy John's, and sometimes on various deliveries, I'll just be like to people, order from us! Or, you know, I try to be the good promoter here. So. Yeah, so they're just jumping right back in to the next race, which is good. I think from Yume's, you know, Flag's perspective, he had some troubles, but he just want to keep it rolling. From Yume's perspective, just restart, refocus, and let's try to make this happen again. So, and I believe in Yume. I really do. He's one of these players that, you know, you just don't count out.
Yeah, as you just said it right there, too, with a quick kill. And I do want to mention, in terms, we'll show the bracket afterwards, but in terms of performance, Yume did lose his very first round of winners and got upset by a player named The Infinite Chain, who's a really good player himself. But Yume has buckled down, and he's won a lot in losers so far. So he is definitely no stranger to coming back, and he can easily win these next two races.
Absolutely. And as you even saw from the first race, it's very, very possible to have this go back and forth. So, yeah, so the Pokeballs above the screen it's a best of 3, so it's lit up 1 for Flag since he won the first, he won the first race. So, if he wins again, he moves on. If he doesn't win, we go to round 3. Which will be super hype. I wanted to go to round 3 just because I want to watch more Puzzle League on my day off. So,
hey, more puzzles is always a good thing. So yeah, I'll be rooting for Yume as well, just to see that game 3. And I think both of them are worthy of taking the entire match. So if Yume makes the comeback, that's good. If Flag plays solid still and manages to get the win, that's good too. Both these guys are going to have a handful probably with the next round as they take on FFR Pro or Tayman, which I'm not going to sleep on Tayman at all. He is like the newest member to our community, and he's been putting in so much work.
Yeah, I've been really impressed with what Tayman's put down so far. You know, and he's a newer name, but certainly not someone to be overlooked. So that should, you know, I don't know if he's still in chat. We're not saying that because you're here. We're saying that because we believe in you. So there you go. What did he say, Forky? Let's go, Tay.
Let's go, Tay.
Oh my god, that just put me into a fit of giggles when we were having our race night. That just kept coming.
Yeah, there's always some fun in the Puzzle League races, and there's always some fun in this tournament match right now too. Both finished Gary at a pretty reasonable time, I'd want to say, but Brock's doing a little bit of trolling right now. I feel like within the first 4 stages of a race, there's always someone who's like going to give a little bit of trouble and it likes to switch off. Most of the time, personally for me, I feel like it's Gary. I've done so many resets on Gary 1 over and over again.
Yeah, I mean, I know on my match I was at Gary for 7 minutes, I think. So we usually do interviews with these guys afterwards, right? Will we have a little bit of time for that?
Oh, yeah, we'll have time. We'll talk to the runners and see how they feel.
So we'll have to ask Flag a little bit why he was kind of deciding to kind of grind some of these out. Because I guess I haven't watched much Flag, but my perception of Flag was he was more of a reset-heavy player than some. So I'm very interested to see, like, you know, have him go to, you know, 2 minutes and 30 seconds here on this match. So, well, it'll be interesting to hear from him why he made that decision. Because it really is, you know, as with every game, you know, if you guys are, you know, speedrunners of various games, as with every game, it is many decisions you make throughout a run that makes or can sometimes break a run. And in a Puzzle League S-Hard setting, that is one of the decisions you make. Do you reset? Do you not reset? Or do you just grind it out? And so it'll be interesting to hear from him why he's deciding on some of these matches to just grind instead of resetting. So that'll definitely be a question I have for him.
Yeah. Super unfortunate on Yume's side. He did send a really good amount, and as the CPU was lowering, they had like just that little last bit of a horizontal clear. But I did notice he was 1 line short, even if they didn't have the clear. So he's playing with a very dangerous stack right now, too. He has
second tier. Okay. Wow. Okay.
Wow, that you got the kill off of it, too. That was an interesting match.
Wow, because I was thinking if Misty dropped some stuff there, you're at that point you're forced to go second tier. Like, you just don't. I mean, granted, it wastes another 20-30 seconds, but you just have to go second tier. You can't. And that's interesting. Flag's going long on the match and then deciding super late in to reset, and it's just fascinating watching the decisions players make when you really kind of dig in and watch them play. And I think, too, it's kind of, even though the strategy has gotten more, I don't want to say standardized necessarily, but I think refined is probably a better word. The strategy has gotten more refined over time, but I still feel like different players have their own way that they attack the strategy. I feel like you can kind of tell from gameplay whether it's cursor speed or whether it's because, you know, players like FFR Pro, you know, their cursor speed is insane because he's used to spa service, or just in the strategies of what you see and what you chain and where you cut off your chains, and you know, everybody kind of develops their own way of going through the game. It's just really interesting to see.
Yeah, I agree with that. It's one of those games, if you put enough time into it and you're familiar enough with the community, you could put just like a blank VOD up, no reference at all to who it is, and maybe figure it out based on, you know, chains, combos, cursor speed, like you said. Everyone learns at their own pace, kind of. There's strategies out there, but different things work for everyone, so you never know.
Yeah, as in life as well. So, yeah, I mean, we're just kind of at a stalling point here. Flag at Brock, or no, it is Brock. I get Brock and Bruno mixed up a lot. And then Yume at Erica here.
Yeah, he'd be on pretty good pace if he was at Bruno right now. I'd say that.
Yeah, that would be...
Which I think it is theoretically possible, but you need like kills that are flukes. People who have golds on their split for this game, and they have some of best like in the 8 to 7 minute range, they get these 10-second kills because they accidentally dropped their chain, and then the CPU just doesn't react well enough and dies.
I'm like, yeah, like, because I semi-recently got I was just curious as to what my summer bests were on S-Hard. And like I said, I have a 23-minute PB, but my summer best is 9:59. So, you know, it's, you know, and obviously the players with, you know, sub-20s will probably have, you know, 8. I'm curious as to what Card's summer best is. It's probably... Those are, you know, some players run against their summer best. This is not a good game to run against your summer best. It would just get really depressing really quick. Arguably, some players even just run against their average time.
Dude, I think, yeah, that's what I like to do. I think FFR Pro runs against his best splits, and I'm not sure why, but every time you watch his stream, it's just red splits all the time. It's never any golds, because he's pretty optimized on his gold splits, too.
Oh! Oh, wait, I was watching the wrong screen. I thought Flag side was the... Oh my god, I got my screen mixed up. But Flag's at Misty now! Woo!
Yeah, he got a pretty interesting kill on Brock where they had one line of blocks at the very bottom but had a horizontal. But luckily enough, didn't have a follow-up clear after that, so eventually died. And so it looks like he did take a reset on Misty as well. So maybe he's going to be going a little bit more aggressive on the resets. He doesn't have a really favorable pattern right now, as those 4 combo garbage blocks were right above what could have been either a 2 chain or a 7 combo.
Yeah, it's... 7 combos are just very frustrating to get because the idea is when you have a combo, it's whatever your combo is and then 1 less block. So that's why the 4 combos are 3 blocks wide. But with a 7 combo, that makes 6. And because the field is 6 blocks wide, it just looks like a 2 chain.
And if you're playing fast enough, and it just happens to be sometimes you get that 4 combo, but you don't see 3 blocks that are lining up with that last switch too. So that's why the 7 can occur very often. A lot of times you'll just see runners maybe immediately reset. It won't even be like 2 seconds into the match, but they know, all right, the setup's probably not going to be the best. I need to get a fresh start again.
Yeah, and a lot of times, I'm a bit more stubborn with the resets, but a lot of times when I reset, that will be why I reset. It'll just be like 3 chain, it'll be a 3 chain with a 7 combo and a 5 combo and another 2 chain, and then I'm just like, no, I don't want to deal with this. This is going to take forever. And sometimes that can happen where you can get things like that and get a quick kill, but it's so unlikely that you just... From my perspective, at least, it's just easier to reset and try again where you have something that's a little bit more, I use a little bit more loosely, but a little bit more reliable than perhaps something where you just chain a bunch and get smaller chains, bigger combos, and hope it works. So we're on Surge! Yeah. Yeah, I mean, again, another super close match. You know, 2-stage lead. As we even saw last race, if you were here, 2-stage lead is nothing. So.
Yeah, apparently 5-stage lead is nothing too, because that's what Yume had at the beginning of his.
Oh man,
We're not beat yet.
I think Yume, he's in. Yeah, I was about to say he was in a pretty good position to where when they clear that first garbage block that's at the bottom, if they don't get a chain or a combo off of that, their stop time doesn't reset. So if they have to do an awkward movement to go back to the top, usually they don't have a lot of time to do that, and that's when you see kills like that happen.
right, and the thing about human players is that, you know, you have that. A lot of top players, or a lot of players who play this game a lot, have that kind of second gear. Like there's a base gear, a base speed you have to do things, and then in panic mode, there's somehow you just develop this ability to have an extra. Wow, interesting kill on Surge there on Flag side. It just baffles me sometimes with the computers how it's just a really easy way to get out of situations, and then they just don't. It's super interesting to watch. But like I was saying, you have sometimes a second cursor speed that just kind of comes out of nowhere when you know your stop time's running out.
The panic mode can really make you book it.
Yeah, and I see some newer names here in chat that I didn't see in the first race. So just to kind of clarify what we're talking about when we mean stop time, it's a mechanic in the game where as you get chains and combos, you kind of build up this time to where it just stops. The stack is constantly raising unless you have the stop time, and that gives you the ability to move around and be able to still clear blocks and move blocks. And after a certain amount of time, if you don't get chains and combos, that runs out, you're done, and then you lose. So, as you can kind of see on Flag screen, you know, Erica had stop time there, but didn't have anything to move. It ran out. That's, to a certain extent, how you move on. Because one of the most common questions you get with this game is, so how exactly do you win? Like, how do you move on? It's just a lot of blocks, and then there's these like garbage-looking things, and then somehow you win. So that's kind of the core of it. And actually, here Yume's on 15 minutes to Tracy is still a pretty good pace. It's not that bad. So it's, you know, Flag struggling certainly, and as we saw, it's very possible to come back from a 3-stage deficit. But you know, certainly props to Yume on decent pace here. Yeah, Tracy.
Yeah, Flag's had some pretty good setups compared to his first couple stages of this run. He got a little bit unlucky there. Koga did have very few blocks, but managed to just find those last couple clears. The stage before this, I wanted to point out that he did a really, really good adjustment to where he did not have Erica topped off by 2 rows, but he did a really quick chain at the last second to plop it down right before Erica was able to raise her stack. This is looking good on Yume's side too, as they're going to ignore the right side of the screen with the yellows, and Yume is pretty much rolling right now. Stage 10, about 17 minutes in. This is really good pace for a sub 30, which was probably good enough to take a match at this rate.
Yeah. Earlier on in the tournament, we were doing very hard, and very hard is, you know, easier than super hard. And there the standards is you know, you gotta get 20, 25 minutes. But when you come to S hard, that expectation's got to go out the window pretty quickly, because S hard, as you can see with these players, and they're both incredibly good players, so it's not a matter of lack of skill by any sense. It's just a matter of the computer in this game is the computer. So. That's and the thing that kind of reminds me too, second tier stress, I hate second tier stress, but kind of reminds me too is I know when I was at SGDQ, I ran across some folks who were playing this game, and you know, some of them were like, man, it took me like 50, 60 continues just to beat S hard, and you know, there are people that can just beat it consistently in 30, 40 minutes. And it seems intimidating, but and it is when you start playing it. You know, I often tell people, you know, do not start on S hard. Just if you are trying to learn this game, do not start on S hard. You know, start on marathon mode. Get a sense of how to combo, how to chain. Just get some of those basics down, and that. But then don't go to S hard. Just don't start at S hard, because then you're going to get frustrated and probably never want to play the game again. So it's a game of it's a game of where you need patience. It's a game where you need some amount of endurance. One row on flag side. But I feel like if you play the game, it's super rewarding. Yeah, Teammate's got a good point in chat. Hard is a good starting point, and that was actually in the group stages before we got to brackets was hard mode. So, and then the first part of brackets was very hard, and now we're in the super hard stages. So.
I'll also point out another thing in chat that Joko says. I totally agree with the lines. I think we brought it up to Yume and maybe some other people too. There actually is a plugin called the Glide plugin that you can use. It fixes a lot of the issues with it. It's not perfect, but it certainly does do a pretty good job for any N64 emulation for Puzzle League. But I've talked to Yume personally, and I guess he says he personally likes playing with the line gaps, and I guess if you've gotten used to it, it's not too bad. Both these guys finishing those stages at the same time, but still a pretty considerable lead for Yume right now. Flag's picking it up a little bit, though. He's almost past the halfway point. And this is where we did see him make a little bit of the comeback last time. Yume did struggle a lot on Sabrina last run, and fortunately he got past Sabrina pretty quickly. But he's still got Richie to go, and we'll have to see what Richie does to his side.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. This is another thing. I like asking kind of people who are better than me, essentially, or you just commentate more matches and see it. Do you get the sense like Richie is kind of another breaking point in S hard? Because like I know like Tracy is kind of the first switch, but is there another switch around around Richie that happens too, or does that just kind of? Because it always seems like for newer players, like, you get trolled at Tracy and then you get trolled at Richie. Is there any kind of consistency with that? I'm probably not making my question.
No, I totally understand. It is really weird. Like, speaking for me personally, I could agree with that because based on my averages over all the time I've played the game, Richie and Tracy are my top two. And it kind of feels like when you do get to those, like, last 5 stages starting at Richie, it does feel a little bit different. Sometimes Richie just is pretty consistent with chains, and you'll see that with the later opponents as well. And as you just saw with that cleared, this is actually not good for Yume.
God.
When the combo garbage hits the very bottom, they're going to ignore it at all since there are no blocks underneath it. So it's going to be pretty easy to work around it for Richie now, and he'll most likely get this clear with that. Combo garbage block was still sitting down there for a while.
Now it's interesting because you were watching Yume's screen. I was watching Flag's screen and was actually wondering why he reset there because it looks like Tracy cleared something, but it didn't clear the garbage blocks. And it looked like he was trapped there, and then Flag decided to reset. So I'm not quite sure what happened there, if I missed something. Maybe Flag himself got trapped and he needed to reset, but I thought he had Tracy at a quick kill there, and then all of a sudden saw the reset. Huh. I wasn't even watching Yume's screen because I was just fascinated by the fact that Tracy got a clear that was touching a garbage block, but the garbage block itself didn't clear. That was really interesting. I don't know how often I see that. Then again, I'm generally bad at watching the computer screen outside, you know, in the context of my own playing, so maybe, I don't know, maybe that happens more than I think.
Speaking of my two personal trolls, they happen to be side by side on the stream right now. This could be good for Flag. He made a pretty decent timing there, as there was just that one. There was like the two left columns were empty, and there was just blocks in that third from the right. Man. And it was easy just to drop them down for the CPU, and those are really good situations to be in.
And then Yume, I mean, had a good setup there and just didn't send enough in the right amount of time. And it's just a really nice comparison of side to side, how, you know, just that little bit of timing, just a second here or a second there, can really make a difference in whether you win or lose.
I wish I didn't open my mouth a little bit. I mentioned Yume was having troubles on Richie from the previous match, and so far it's been mimicking onto this match as well, but he might have a good setup here. I don't know. Oh, Yume, no, not like this. Oh, he finally had a good setup and everything, and just was not paying attention. Or did he raise it a little bit too high? I'm not even really sure there. Oh man, that's super unfortunate. It
seemed like he slowed down, and it looked like he was looking for something, and then just, I mean, that happens sometimes too, where you're looking for something specific. Or maybe, the other thing is maybe he just thought he had it. Because that can happen too, where sometimes you just think you have you think you have the quick kill, so you yourself let up, and you just misjudge the stop time just a little bit of how much you have, and then just die. So I think there was probably a couple of things that could have been going on there. The other thing is just sometimes you blank out, and you just are like, oh my god, what's happening? So several different factors there, but that looked really good for a quick kill. Just unfortunate for Yume, whatever happened to happen there.
Yeah, you can see it rattled him just the tiniest bit too, because I've noticed the past two attempts at Richie here, he's kind of dropped his chain each time, just not finding the proper setups, and it's giving time for Flag to catch up, as he has a beautiful kill there on Rocket.
That was gorgeous. Yeah, sometimes the computers look at the quick kill on you, and that's just a little embarrassing. Because you know how to quick kill them, and then they quick kill you, and it's like, oh wow, I just got played in my own game. Okay.
Yeah, that'll happen from time to time. I've definitely been the person, I'm pretty aggressive when raising my stack, and there have been several matches where I've died like 5 seconds in because I just raised my stack at the very top at the beginning. But
yeah.
Good for Yume. He finally does close out this Richie, so he's not going to get trolled on it for too long. But it did give Flag a little bit of time to catch up, and he's not going to get the kill right now. It might lead to a good setup here if he... Oh, see? I think he should have waited that out just a little bit. Gio was going to have 9 blocks that would have cleared from that garbage. And obviously, it's not the most ideal with that big garbage block. It wastes a lot of time. But I think there was just the smallest glimmer of hope there to get that kill.
I actually agree. I think that was... I mean, most of the reset decisions, again, it's just another timing thing, but yeah, I think that was one where you could have waited a little bit, especially since in this particular match, overall, we've seen Flag wait a lot in different situations. So it's interesting that, you know, sometimes your judgment is... Well, your judgment's your judgment. You see what you see. But I think he could have waited there for sure.
We got Cloister
Very
on the
close.
stream again. Always love hearing those Cloister sound effects. I think, personally, they're my favorite in the game. I know a lot of people just like all of Lorelai's in general, like dugongs or polywhirls.
Oh, there is sound. Oh, because on my video, there's been no sound, and I'm like, oh, that's interesting, but apparently I just have the sound turned off. Alright, that works. Doesn't bother me necessarily, so. But there is sound on the stream, right?
Oh, yeah. Well,
I just have my own sound muted.
we're doing a Discord screen share right now, so I don't think it will output sound for you.
Oh, that's fine. Doesn't bother me. I don't even play this game. When I play this game, like not streaming it, I don't even have sound anyway. So I'm used to watching this without any sound.
Oh, on Yume's side, Lorelai wouldn't have had the clear on the bottom, but she found that second tier up top, and it's going to delay it a little bit. I think Flag is... he got super lucky there with dropping the purple at the bottom, and he's going to get that kill.
So I have to ask you, Forky, what is the... Is there a Pokemon noise that annoys you the most?
You know,
You have one that just...
I've
just
played...
really bad.
I've played this game the most out of any in the series, and you'd think the noises would get annoying to me. And I guess some may do every once in a while. I don't mind these all so much, but if you go to this game's counterpart, Pokemon Puzzle Challenge, where it takes like the 8-bit cries from the original game, some of those can get annoying. And I'm not going to point out any names, but Jinx, I'm calling you out right now.
Yeah. For me, it's Onyx. For some reason, Onyx in this game. So there you go. If you ever want to play me in versus at a GD2, all you have to do is just pick Onyx, and you have a better chance of winning. I can't stand it when he gets into the upper chains, and oh my god. Yeah, that is it's very hard to deal with. Super distracting.
Yeah, I can say, like, I played without, like, game audio at all for this game sometimes, which is weird. I don't even have music playing. But I prefer game audio most of the time, even after listening to it for so long. I think it just helps me focus a little bit more. But it changes from person to person. I can totally understand being annoyed with this game after a while.
Yeah, I mean, I play Wario's Woods too, and that game audio is actually worse because it's actually just the same music soundtrack that plays for the entire run. So if you get trolled and you do like a 40, 50-minute run, it's just the same music over and over again.
Well, Yume got a little bit unfortunate.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, and now Flag is actually back in the lead just by a little bit right now, only by 2 seconds, and anything can change right here, but... We've seen Yume, he's been struggling on the past 2 stages here, and Flag making that late game comeback again.
Yeah. Flag's late game seems to be pretty good, so... And like you were saying earlier, you know, sometimes you... Wow!
Yeah, speaking of good late game right here.
How do you...
Are you ready?
What? How do you scan? Oh my god, this game! How do you scan over that and not see the triangles? What? Oh my god.
Write an angry letter to Nintendo 17 years later and be like, Pokemon Puzzle League, I disagree with this. You need to fix this right now.
I know. When's the new patch, man? When's the new patch?
Oh, he's gonna get the kill there too at 13 seconds. What?
Wow.
Dude, it was probably more lucky than actual timing, but I'll give him credit for it. That was a pretty impressive drop early there. And now, shoot, dude, it's looking like Flag's match again with the final stretch here. Let's see if Yume can get past Lorelai finally. That was crazy. I did not expect it. Not only did we see probably the longest match of S-Hard, we probably just saw the shortest kill right there, too. That was insanely quick.
That was very, very quick.
He's going to get another one here if he's topped off. Oh, at the last second. Flag, you're a madman, dude. And Yume finishing with a 21-second himself. He's down by 2 full stages right now, but Flag is on a tear right now.
And the fact that, like, literally that's how many pixels away from that row coming up and the stars clearing? Oh my god. That in and of itself, just that concept is insane.
And Flag looking to put an end to this right now. Unfortunately, Mewtwo didn't give him too much to work with after that initial chain. So it looks like he is going to get trolled here for a little bit. Let's see what Yume is going to do on his side. Bruno's doing a pretty big chain here. I'm pretty sure Yume probably has the garbage to follow up. Let's see how this is going to be. I think this is going to be the kill. Yep, that's definitely going to be the kill there.
Yeah,
all right.
That's the kill there.
Yume is still in this. Let's see this game 3.
Absolutely.
Full commentator bias. Let's go, Yume.
I'm going to win.
Yeah. Oh my
I'm
god.
going to win.
And Mewtwo is just doing Mewtwo, man.
To win.
This is just what Mewtwo does. And I just the block management for Mewtwo and just the cursor speed he has as well is just really, really smart. On a quick side note, go Astros because the Yankees are bad, but I want the Dodgers to win because they beat the Cubs. So, anyway.
Oh, baby. This is what I want to see right now. Yume being so clutch right after he gets past Lorelei. Flag still getting trolled right now. If Yume sets this up properly, he could steal this race, and we might see that final decider.
Oh my gosh, there has been so many good games this tournament.
I'm going to win.
There's so many good matches, and so close that have come down to just Mewtwo. And this is another one.
Oh, if Yume drops that, he... Oh.
Drop it. Oh no.
Yeah, that's unfortunate. It looks like he's going to be in for the long haul, too. I give him credit for not dropping it too early. I think Flag... No, he's not going to get the kill there.
No.
But Yume didn't have enough garbage sense, so he tried to extend it out a little bit. So if he even dropped it a little bit early, it might not have topped off Mewtwo. So props for him. And I think Flag's going to get the kill here. Yep, that's good.
Oh, man. Oh, man. Oh. Very nice work to Flag there.
Man, despite Yume trying to come back there at the end, Flag does clutch it out there. Not too long of a troll on Mewtwo, and he's going to take it 2-0, and he's going to get a guaranteed 4th place in bracket now.
Very nice. And props to Yume though. That it was, both of them were super close matches, and it's puzzling. And, you know, just a quick kill away from going to round 3, but it's what it is, and hopefully Yume will finish this out. I'm sure he's seen, and it's hard too to like FF in the middle of FF in the middle of Mewtwo, but it's possible, but it's not super hard. It's not super easy to do, but it was. There we go. Oh no! Oh, jeez.
I'm going to win.
So frustrating. And it was close. It was really close. It just wasn't Yume's day.
Yeah, and as Yume is just finishing it up, I just want to, give props to both these guys running. They're both top of the line runners when it comes to this game. As you can see by the 4 and 5 seeds, we had really high anticipation for this match, and I'm sure you guys could agree they brought everything that they had here, and it was very fun to watch. So give them a follow, guys, and they play Puzzle League pretty actively.
I'm going to win. I'm going to
Yeah,
win.
and
I'm going to win.
Flag's hanging around in chat. You were at Mewtwo, Flag. We'll talk about this in the interview. You were at Mewtwo, and Yume had 2 quick kills to get to Mewtwo, and if you would have quick killed Mewtwo with where you were, you would have lost, but he missed it. Didn't send enough garbage, and then just the grind, you outgrinded him. So that's how the second round went. So it was, I don't know, like, I personally can't watch the stream and play at the same time. Like, I don't have the stream on. It's just way too distracting for me. But I know some people will have the stream in the background to see where they're at. Man. I feel so bad for Yume. Hopefully he'll still get the sub 40 here if he decides to finish it out. If he gets frustrated. And seeing all these really good races happen and how close these have been, I'm just so excited for AGDQ and everyone who's going to show up and playing all these guys in person. It's just such a fun experience to be able to lose IRL. Also, we're super competitive amongst ourselves, but we're also really supportive of one another too, I think. Personally, that's my experience with the community, at least. So it could be because I'm a girl, who knows, but I'd like to think it's not that.
I'm going to win. I'm going to win.
Come on, Yume. Let's go, Yume.
Yeah, Mewtwo just likes to do his thing sometimes. It's legit not uncommon to see like a 10-minute plus Mewtwo.
Oh yeah.
Because his cursor speed's so fast, and if he doesn't clear any of his blocks, he just keeps going and going and going, and there's no end in sight sometimes.
I'm going to win. I'm going to win. I'm going to win.
I'm gonna step away for just a sec here while Yume tries to finish up, and then we're gonna probably get an interview, hopefully, right?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. We'll be talking to some people.
Alright. I'll be right back real quick.
I'm going to win. I'm going to win.
Yeah, there's not much you can say about this currently right now. It's like, hopefully he doesn't die, and I think he is. Yeah, he's probably just going to end up forfeiting, probably just due to frustration there. Yeah, good stuff to Yume, though. Like, he gave it his all. He almost made a really sick comeback at the end. But unfortunately, that's just going to be it for him. Good games to both of the racers. Very entertaining round, and I can't wait to see what Flag brings to the table when we figure out who his next opponent's going to be. So I will try to get both of the racers in here if they want to say a couple words. We'll bring up the brackets in the meantime for you guys. I think I hear a Flag.
Nope.
Hello.
Hello.
How's it going?
It goes well, man. Yeah,
First off.
congrats.
Thank you. I felt like the game tried to screw me over once again, but the game probably screwed over Yume harder, it sounds like.
Yeah. That, and just to give you kind of a recap of the first, so the second race came down to Mewtwo. The first race, when you were getting trolled at Gary, Yume actually got to Koga in about 4 minutes, and then got trolled at Sabrina, and then you came back, and then you got trolled, and then Yume came back, but then you had your your last 4 stages in both of the races were really, really good.
Thank you. That Bruno was totally intentional, by the way. Don't worry about it. The 12-second one.
Nice.
Yeah, I guess we wanted to talk to you a little bit about that, though. It seemed like you just were playing through a lot of the matches, and I'll be honest, I actually don't know if you're too reset heavy or not on your runs. So I guess first of all, do you typically reset on a normal run? And
Depends on how I'm feeling. Half the time I like to reset, half the time I don't.
Because we were wondering specifically on your 8-minute Giovanni. Were you tilted or were from?
No, I was just having fun with the game. I just felt like playing it through and having fun, I'll be honest.
Well, a lot of times that will not pay off. I mean, luckily you won, but a lot of times that, won't necessarily pay off in the end, having a match that long. But we were curious to see why you made that decision there.
Because I wanted to play more Puzzle League today. That's the whole reason. I just want a long match. Or I just want at least one long match today, since level 10 Mewtwo wasn't delivering earlier today.
Yeah, but very, very, very good.
Oh, man.
Hey, Yume.
Hey, Yume. So how did Yume? How did you feel about your runs today? I'm sure you're a little bit disappointed, but
Well, I mean, the first run was really good till that 11-minute Sabrina happened. That is a thing. Second run was not too bad, but yeah, I have problems with both of my thumbs right now, so when I got into the Mewtwo fight that lasted for 6 minutes that I lost in the end. Yeah, wasn't the best for my thumb, at least. Of course, yeah, disappointed that I got sniped at Mewtwo. If I got the quick kill there, we would have game 3. But well, probably better for me if we don't have one.
So do you have the stream on in the background so you know where you are?
Nope, never.
Okay.
So neither of us do.
And you probably get that philosophy from doing Link to the Past randomizers, I would assume, right?
I seriously don't know why you should stream snipe even, but that is not, well, the topic of this discussion, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Because I could go on about that for at least half an hour. But no, I never have a stream running. I usually have my chat and stuff, but, well, I mean, I was on no mic today anyway, so...
Mm-hmm. I bring that up because a point we mentioned at the beginning of the broadcast was we weren't too sure of like just general tournament experience for you. Like we know Flag's been in a couple in-person Puzzle League tournaments and the Tetris Attack one last year. And then I think all I knew from you is that you were doing the Link to the Past. So do you think just a little bit of the experience in those matches help you calm down? Did it like translate properly to Puzzle League?
That is honestly hard to say. I mean, yeah, in a Link to the Past randomizer you have these moments where you are like, I could have had this item for like 30 minutes, what am I even doing? And yeah, I guess sometimes it is the same with Puzzle League. When you're like, hey, I could have won this stage like 10 minutes ago, let's go! But yeah. Yeah, what should I say? I mean, I felt sometimes really unlucky about not getting the kills or getting my force just dropped to the bottom, straight to the bottom. Sometimes I just didn't send enough for exactly the cases where I had them, but yeah, the one more line happened. So I don't know. I guess today, with not being able to make up for my mistakes, with the thumbs not being in top condition, I guess I can't be mad losing like I did, because I didn't play my best for sure.
And
and
it happens to
no, go
everybody.
ahead.
Everyone kind of has some bad days, but I want to point out though, I was super impressed with you after losing the first round to Chain, and you made a really good losers bracket run to make it all the way up to finishing 5th. So even if you were a little bit down on performance today, at least you can look back at that and say, hey, I made a pretty good run, and I almost could have won today's match too. So.
Yeah, the matches or the rounds today were super close. It was very back and the first race was very back and forth. The second one was a little bit more straightforward, but any race that comes down to Mewtwo, it's just a matter of whatever Mewtwo decides to do. If Mewtwo wants to be free, if Mewtwo doesn't want to be free. Now, actually, I have a question for Flag.
Hi.
Hi. So, is there, it seemed like today you were having a really good Elite Four. Is there anything particular, mindset-wise that you do there to kind of, or was it just one of those days where you were just having a really good E4?
One of those days.
Gotcha. So, no, it was really close. It was really exciting to watch, and I'm glad, we get to have this on the Speed Gaming channel, and you guys put on, even if maybe you were frustrated with your performances, you guys put on a good show. So, very, very hype.
Still can't believe I died to Gary 1.
Yeah, I pointed that out. I'm like, man, that's actually happened quite a bit throughout the tournament, and I'm like, it's just like a curse from that SGDQ run from a while back.
And the funny thing about that Gary 1 kill too that I will bring up is Yume actually finished Gary 1 at the same time. So I didn't see that you had lost. So it popped up at the same time, where on Yume's side it said win, and then on your side it said lose. So it was just like right in unison popped up, and it's like one side was win, one side was lose. XD. So, yeah, that was a bummer. There are a couple of losses here in the various matches, and just times where both of you got trapped. So, it didn't really seem like one person was playing better than the other person. It's just kind of down to the Puzzle League sense of things. So you both played super well.
Losing that 4 minutes match on Sabrina, where I thought I had her for 4 freaking minutes. That hurt a lot, and wasting these 11 minutes on Sabrina after that good first run I had up till there.
Yeah, you were flying through that first up through Koga. That was super impressive.
But these walls exist, and these walls will forever be there, so what can you do about it? But I mean, that is also a little bit of the fun of these games. I was on good paces. I'm really mad I lost the first one. The second one I wasn't playing that good anymore. So I figured I would lose that. That it came down to Mewtwo in the second was, a little bit frustrating though. Yeah, I mean, it's frustrating to come down to Mewtwo and lose like that, but I think it's just too, Flag had been there for a minute and a half longer. You both get there at the same time, maybe things are different, but that's where those leads happen. And like I said, Flag just had a really good Elite Four on both of the races today, and some days that can be the difference between a win and a loss. So great job, you guys, though.
Yeah. Congrats to both. It was a very entertaining race. I don't think there's any more questions from us, but I do want to give the last one to Flag, as I'm going to pull up on stream right here. You're sitting in losers semifinals, and you're going to play either FFR Pro or Tay-Man. Who do you think is going to win during that match, and how comfortable do you feel against both of them?
Tay-Man is free, but I think FFR is going to win.
Wow. Wow.
Fair enough.
Tay-Man. You realize Tay-Man's in the chat, right?
Yeah, I know. I hope he heard me.
Oh.
I like the short and simple answer. I guess we'll just leave it at that. So, thanks for watching, everyone. If this was your first time experiencing Puzzle League, we're actually probably going to have the rest of our matches on the set of Speed Gaming channels, including our next one is the last one in Winners Finals. It's going to be myself versus Cards of the Heart. So if you guys are around at 9 p.m. tomorrow, come check that out. And you'll see on some of the slides here, we have a community and a Discord. Check those out as well. We do races all the time. We're going to have more upcoming tournaments. And we're going to have a match on Sunday as well, I believe at 7 p.m. Both of them are going to be on Speed Gaming 1. So check those out. As far as this channel goes, I don't think there's anything after us, but there are links to the past randomizers going on 1 and 2. So if you guys need more content to watch, go check those out. But yeah, thanks for watching, guys. Hopefully we'll see you tomorrow night, and I hope you appreciated the broadcast.
Absolutely.